meeting, take Mr. Skinner.
Oh, wait.
Skinner out of order. We're good?
Good,
Okay.
thank
Is
you, and
Mr.
yourself?
Skinner here?
I don't know if he's here or he's gonna, we'll see if he's gonna be on Zoom, I'm not sure.
Patty?
Is Mr. Skinner?
Yes.
Oh, he is, okay, so we'll wait. We'll call him on it, yeah.
yeah.
He's such a great guy. Okay.
I'm not.
Good evening, everyone, and a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa's coming up and a joyous New Year. I also believe that school committeeman, Attorney Pete Murphy, and good health to you, Murph, I believe will be joining us virtually. And tonight, also, I'd like to give a shout out. We'll do it again, regular scheduled meeting, but our student rep, Luis Gonzalez, who has done a fantastic job. This is his last meeting, and it is his birthday, too. Happy birthday, Louis. He's really done a great job. So, speaking of great jobs, we're going to go into our student speak out, and they're going to give us updates. And tonight, we will go, special guest is here tonight, Vice Chair Latonia Naylor's daughter from Putnam, Patience Naylor, in person, is here, supported by Allison Croto. So Patience, come on down.
Hi, my name is Patience Naylor. I'm from Putnam. I'm going to be talking about Putnam's first. We're going to talk about our school spirit. I'm very happy with the school spirit that's at Putnam. When it comes down to sports, when it comes down to activities after school, I know that I'm part of the I'm part of the student council at my school, and we've thrown movie nights for the kids, for us, all of us. And we've thrown homecoming recently. We have upcoming events like sitting and painting and stuff for the holidays and stuff like that. Bring your friends to come in, and we can sit and paint, watch a movie. We also have more that we're planning up with to build up school spirit. We have pep rally tomorrow. So I'm just really excited to be a part of Putnam and be a part of their voice speaking. And next I wanted to talk about the stuff that we're doing for the seniors this year. We just had a college fair at my school where a whole bunch of colleges, I think like 20 plus, came in and talk to the students, get a lot of acceptances happened, and we were just very happy to be there, and it's a good experience preparing us for the next step. Also, for our school, I wanted to talk about our English curriculum because overall throughout the whole school we have very good English teachers. One thing I love about school is English class because of that. And I can ask my friend, I can ask a friend to ask a friend. They say, yeah, we all have good English teachers. We're able to talk to them and relate to life about our subjects. We're able to really get articulate in what we're reading, and they make it fun. We watch movies and stuff, comparing to the books that we read. We do presentations. It's just a wide variety of just learning, and I thank the English curriculum at my school for letting me love English like that. That's all I have today. Thank you.
Nice job, Pete. We see the apple doesn't fall too far away from the tree there, Vice Chair. Just please of note, Mateo Cintron, Central High School, he has dual enrollment classes this evening, so he's unable to attend. He has worked with the district team, and his voice will be represented with other speeches here tonight. So, Mateo, we wish you the best of luck and continued success. We'll now move to Renaissance. Brian Avila, who's here, and I know Principal Derek Wright is also here, and I know they're going to do their college march tomorrow too, from Symphony Hall to Liberty Street to Post Office, so congratulations. So, Brian, the podium is yours.
Hi. Oh my God, this is much more nerve-wracking now that there's more of you.
You'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Well, hi. My name is Brian Avilia. The representative is Renaissance, like you said. And I just wanted to tell you what we're doing right now after changing the styrofoam trays. As of now, the sophomores have begun to think ahead and are wondering on how to make Renaissance better in general. This group's goal is not to have a huge project similar to what happened with the styrofoam trays, but instead to focus on smaller, more able to do things that just make life, that will accumulate and just make life easier for students. For example, we are grappling with the idea of networking to see future community service hours, like where future 10th graders can go specifically, as well as looking for internship opportunities for the following 11th graders, because that's also something that we have to fend for ourselves on. And I'm happy to report that your words have not gone unnoticed from the last meeting since we were here. And the current freshmen have begun to go out into the school and weigh the food waste specifically. They have been going out into the cafeteria during lunchtime and have been requesting that students put all their food waste, primarily, only that, into trash cans that they were hauling around. And so I hope that you are excited when you finally do get to meet them. And connecting to the environment, we, the District Student Advisory Council, will be going to a trip to Sodexo's Culinary and Nutrition Center, the 20th, I believe. Mateo, who was unable to come here today, was very excited to share with you all that he was going to try and film this trip in a form of documentary style thing. Sorry. And through this, I believe he was hoping to show you all like how stuff is going around in Sodexo and how this can be changed to make it better, especially considering how much of an advocate he is for green spaces such as gardens. And I will also be prepared to go into this trip with an open mind to future possibilities and what can make the world better, or more specifically Sodexo, like packaging, manufacturing. How can this become more friendly to the environment, stuff like that. Another thing I'm excited to speak with you about is the possibility of a student-run coffee shop or ice cream shop. After discussing with the people, sorry, yeah. I'm so sorry.
What are you doing? I like ice cream. Yeah, I like coffee. I like coffee too. So you're doing fine, Brian. Doing fine.
This would not only allow students to learn valuable skills, but it would also teach us the possibilities of starting and taking charge of a business and having that kind of control over something so large. Back onto the topic of my school, I'm happy to say that starting next week for 3 days, intensives will be taking place. This is an opportunity from which students can branch out and select certain activities with teachers to learn from. For me personally, I have decided to do the tutoring intensive. I will be going to Liberty Elementary to help students and teachers with my fellow peers.
Great.
This felt natural because our student council has a Toys for Tots donation being set up, and so, despite the kids that I'm tutoring not necessarily being toddlers or very much that young, they are still our future, and I want to give back to our future community of kids. Thank you for your time.
Nice job, Brian. We noticed that you're letting the freshmen take the garbage, though. We noticed that, though. Getting them indoctrinated. Virtual school, and again, as I said, Lewis has done an outstanding job as a student representative, and it's his birthday today, and in Italian we'd say Buono Compleanno. Allison Lynch, who's always here, Sarah Wiley, and Jeff Hamilton that are here. And now we're going to hear from your student, our student rep, Luis Gonzalez.
Thank you.
And his mom and dad are always faithfully here. Thank you.
Since joining the Student Advisory Council, one thing that I have wanted to see is the community of the Springfield Virtual School come closer together. So far this year, we have hosted a virtual trivia night, a virtual college fair, planned a spirit week that we are excited to participate in next week, and organized a holiday break celebration that is scheduled for next Friday. We are also planning larger events for future dates. In January, the Springfield Thunderbirds are hosting an SVS Students and Families Night, and we are planning our first ever prom for June. While these are the biggest events that we have been focusing on so far this year, we are hopeful to plan more and continue to see increased school spirit and student engagement.
Nice job. Oh, we got another, no. Another page, I'm sorry. Very thorough he is.
I'll save for later preference. Thank you.
Okay. Knows how to spread it out, too. That's good, that's good. Nice job, Louis, nice job. Conservatory of the Arts, Elijah Wanguire, and the student cast of Airness, they're on Zoom. Sarah Waterhouse, Kelsey Brown, on Zoom.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elijah Wanguire, and I'm with the cast of Airness. There's one more person behind me, but you can't really see them. Can you guys hear me well? I don't know if you guys can.
Yeah, we can hear you. You can see and hear you well.
All right, that's good. So, the play Airness is going to be held this Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock at our schools, Springfield Conservatory of the Arts. And the play is about, there's 8 characters, and they're all going through this air guitar competition all around the world, different states, different competitors. And it's kind of like a little rivalry between 2 people for one person, and their little love triangle or whatever you want to call it. And it's pretty funny. It's a comedy movie. You get to rock out on stage, and I think you guys would enjoy it. So again, it is this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And tickets are $5. You can buy them online, or you can buy them at the door at the school. Drama club, it's been a pretty good part of my life. I've been acting for like, let's say 8, 9 years. I've been in quite a few productions, Aladdin, Lion King, and Airness, obviously. And it's been pretty good. I like being on stage. You get to express myself, get to have fun with other cast members, and it's a good experience. Everybody seems to enjoy it, I would assume.
Do you guys enjoy it? I do enjoy it.
It's kind of rough at times, but we get the job done. Usually the show is pretty good.
Show's really good.
So it's really good this time. And yeah, that's pretty much all.
Can you give us a little sneak preview, maybe a little dialogue, a couple of you at all, or no? This is a...
We can do a quick performance if you have time, Mayor Sarno.
We have time. Of course we have time.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to move the camera, and we're going to do the opening number for Airness. So hold for actors to get set. Places,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, give him a little air.
All right, Brown, you good?
Are we starting on stage?
Yep.
We're starting on stage. Starting on stage.
All right.
The man has moxie there. Oh, okay, look at this. All right.
Ready? Ross.
1 second. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay. All right, so this is our opening number of Airness, again, this weekend, Friday and Saturday at the Conservatory of the Arts. I'll let them take it away.
Okay. Did we lose? Or was like a mic? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Was that like a mime type thing, Marcel Marceau, or we didn't hear? Or was there an audio with that?
It was Come On Feel the Noise, and it is air guitar, so there's no one singing, but we've got the performers
okay,
miming air guitar for the whole show, and it's very funny.
very-
It's kind of like lip sync battle, but air guitar competition.
Very creative, very creative. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
students. Okay, we'll move to Sci-Tech, Janelli Viragra, Kevin Leline, principal. Vergara, I'm sorry, Jelani Vergara. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. Via Zoom. Principal Leline must be playing an air guitar or something.
I'm
Kev?
here.
I know, okay. Is Jelani? Oh, how adorable.
I had to bring my assistant here.
Look at those eyes, beautiful, beautiful. Is he going to be speaking tonight too?
Yeah, dancing too apparently.
Oh, beautiful, congratulations.
I'm not sure where Janelli is. I don't know if there's maybe a technical difficulty situation. I'm gonna see if I can get her.
Okay. Josue, thank you again, Focus Springfield, they've been great. Josue, any issues with Janelli Vergara? Please? No one there? All right, why don't we do this, Principal Leline? We'll move on to the next, then we'll come back. Hopefully, we'll be able to orchestrate that. So Springfield Public Day High School, Nelson Rojas Martinez via Zoom. Shanice Reed is supporting.
Good evening. As I said, I'm the student representative for Springfield Public Day High School. My name is Nelson. I'm a senior at Springfield Public Day, and soon to be gateway student to the Gateway program at Holy Community College, where I will be able to finish up my high school diploma and college credits as well. I'm looking forward to transitioning to learning on a college campus. Public Day has played a role in preparing me for my next step. For example, in advisory class, we have been learning about personal finance. There are plenty of lessons that I'll take with me, like the importance of budgets, how to maintain a credit score, the difference between financing a car and leasing one, the difference between rent and mortgage, and how inflation is affecting us. Also, Spirit Week was one of the highlights of November. Students were able to dress in pajamas, wear hats, dress alike, and wear costumes to show our school spirit. I was able to shine by wearing my clothes and express my personality. Pajama Day was my favorite because I was able to wear an axolotl onesie. And it was also cool seeing my teachers participating too. Shout out to Miss Nor by wearing her chicken costume, which is actually a school tradition of seeing her in her chicken costume. Also, another highlight of November is the actions the staff put to emphasize on giving. Before Thanksgiving break, the staff members at my school have organized Thanksgiving lunch for students. It was very nice of the staff members to donate their time and money to make us feel special and provide us with great meals before the holiday week or holiday break. I also had a great time chatting with my peers and teachers who were all in good spirits throughout the day. Now to catch up for this month, we are planning next week for a short week to have a Spirit Week, which will be having holiday colors. For one day, we'll be having dress downs. Pajama Day, and I believe also Hat Day. And we also have three field trips coming up that next week on, believe, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the 19th, 20th, and 21st, if I'm not mistaken, which will be one of them was the Sodexo field trip, which was talked about already. Another one will be to Holy Community College, where I might be going soon for their nursing program, which is sponsored by the science group at our school. And then we're also having an ice skating field trip, which is sponsored by Reed and another English teacher also. And those will be all the field trips for now that I know of. We'll keep doing Spirit Weeks as usual, but instead they'll be on Wednesdays, which will be paid for via points, since we have changed our school bucks into points to make it more easier and also environmentally friendly since we already waste enough paper, and we would like to lower down our waste emissions with paper and recycling. And that'll be all. So in closing, I would like to thank you guys for this opportunity, including you, Mayor Sarno, and the community.
Nice job, Nelson. Okay, we'll go back to SciTech and Principal Kevin Lalim and his vice principal, that's with him too, and Janelli Vergara, please. Any luck, Kevin? Has your assistant with you been able to track Janelli down?
So I'm not sure what the problem is, and I'm sorry for the lighting in my house, but
No problem.
yeah, I'm not sure, but I will forward her talking points over to the committee and the superintendent. So I
Okay.
apologize for the
No, but
disconnect.
nothing to apologize, Principal Lalim. Josue, I just want to check one more time. Josue, any luck? No go. Okay. Students did a great job, and wish you continued success. That concludes the Student District Advisory Council Speak Out, and we'll be going in regular session in about 8 minutes. Thank you very much. That concludes the meeting.
Bye.
We're ready to roll, please.
The equipment has changed. The sticks are like $95. For one, some of them are like 100.
Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst? Present. Attorney Murphy?
He's going to be joining us remotely, and good health to you, Murph.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Mr. Collins?
Here.
Ms. Gresham? Present. Ms. Monroe-Naylor? Present. Mayor Sarno?
Present. Can we all please rise for a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone, and from all of us here, to all of you in the room and watching, we all wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa and a joyous and successful New Year. We're also joined by our student rep from the virtual school, Luis Gonzalez, who is it's his last meeting, and he's really done an outstanding job. And by the way, tonight is his birthday, so happy birthday, Luis. Birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Louis, happy birthday to you. And I know he has Principal Allison Lynch is here, and of course his mom and dad are always here, and we really, really appreciate that. They just presented, if you weren't watching earlier, the Student Advisory Council presented on that, and we'll also have, I know in the superintendent's report, some good news pertaining to a new Harena school, which we'll update, and Renaissance. I know Principal Wright was here. The College March goes on tomorrow. We're going to go to Section 2, then we're going to ask for special consideration to call an item out of order. But approve the minutes of the November 30th, 2023 regular school committee meeting and December 5th, 2023 special working session. Any questions or comments? Hearing motion by Mr. Collins, or second? Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst? Yes. Attorney Murphy? Absent. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham? Yes. Ms. Monroe-Naylor? Yes. Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. We have a very special guest, unsung hero in the crowd tonight, and with the indulgence of the school committee, I'd like to call out of order. We're going to recognize Mr. Alvin Skinner for his many, many years of dedicated service to Frederick Harris School. And with the indulgence of the school committee, I know he's here with family and got quite the support. Principal Harris is also here. Quite the support staff of teachers here also. If that's with the indulgence of school committee, is that okay? Yes. Okay. So let me turn it over first to Superintendent Warwick, and then I know myself and others will have some words and presentations for Mr. Skinner. Then we'd love to bring up Principal Harris and Mr. Skinner to say a few words. Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, Mayor. Just I want to say thank you to Mr. Skinner. Over 35 years of dedicated service. He's out there doing morning duty, doing the crossing guard. So important because that's what makes our kids safe going to and from school. So not only doing his work all day, but doing the outstanding work for our kids to get them in and out safely. And then he's like the big greeter in the neighborhood, talking to everybody and welcoming them to everything. So making, the school a welcoming entity for our family. So thank you, Mr. Skinner, from the bottom of my heart. I hear firsthand what you do, and we're just all grateful to you. Thank you.
School committee members?
Sure. Hey, Alvin,
Collins?
congratulations, and there absolutely is life after retirement. I started in the department as a custodian, but didn't have the guts to stay there as a custodian. Too hard a job, Alvin, dude. I can tell you, though, that back when I was in school to be trained to be a teacher, one of the premier precepts that they taught us was you get in that building, the first two people that you befriend are the custodian and the secretary. They're going to make or break your career. And I'm sure you have had a lot to do with a lot of people being successful. Thank you for years and years of dedicated service.
Skinner, Alvin, come on up to the podium, please. And Principal Harris, come on up. Both of you come up. Okay. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. So the public can see you there. Any other comments from school committee members?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Gresham.
I just want to say thank you for your years of service and dedication and longevity. And when people have that many years of service, you know they enjoy what they're doing. And we really appreciate it and enjoy retirement.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other school committee members? Yes, Vice Chair Naylor.
First of all, you must have started working when you were 5. 'Cause you look very, very good, and I only can say that's probably because you've enjoyed the work that you've done, and young people keep us young. And so just seeing the smile on your face and your significant other, I'm assuming, is just beautiful to see the joy and the happiness that you have working with our young people. I know firsthand what it means to have somebody in a building that you can connect with that is happy to see you, to make your day when you go to school, and the difference that that makes in the life of a child and their family. So thank you for everything that you've done physically for the building, but also for the changes that you've probably don't realize, the seeds that you've sown into the lives of so many people because of the love that you have and the peace that you carry with you when you move. So thank you. Enjoy retirement, even though I can imagine you will not be retiring. But I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other comments from school committee members? Ms. Hurst?
Congratulations and thank you for all that you've done for us and for our children.
Thank you. Any other comments? Well, hearing none, this is a very special one for me. And when the reach out came, they said, geez, we'd love to be able to honor Alvin Skinner. I said, oh my God, Alvin Skinner. Much, much beloved by the Frederick Harris team there for many, many years. And I see the Moriartys back there, and all our kids went to school together at Frederick Harris. And you're an important cog in the success of Frederick Harris School. Always helping, always nurturing, always a smile on your face. And Carla and my daughters Cassandra and Kiara send their best, as my sister Joanna and Nick and Christopher, who all went to school there, and just so beloved, and you took so much pride in your work. And I just always remember the smile on your face, even if you were dealing with a challenging situation. And as Vice Chair Naylor indicated, that is very warming and welcoming to a family and a student. They know that Mr. Skinner is going to be out there, whether good weather or bad weather, out there to lend a helping hand. And I think that's important. It's a team that makes the school work. We just had Principal Harris and the Frederick Harris team, an award-winning school, on the successes that they've had there, even with the challenging pandemic. And they're all important cogs, and you're a very, very important cog in that system. And we wanted just to personally, and we wanted the public to see it, to thank you, because you're very humble, you're very genuine, you're so respectful, and you really revered, and you have moved on to become really a legend of Frederick Harris School. I know you don't think so, but you really have been. And we have a couple of presentations, and then we're going to turn the podium over to Principal Harris and to you, our honored guests. So first of all, we have from the school committee, from all of us, Springfield Public Schools, Springfield, Massachusetts, Springfield School Committee Superintendent of Schools, Warwick, hereby present Alvin Skinner with this award of recognition for outstanding service to the children of the Springfield Public Schools community, awarded on the 14th day of December 2023, signed by myself, Mayor Dominic Sarno, and Superintendent Dan Warwick, and all our school committee members. So we have that one. And then I have a special proclamation for myself from my office. City of Springfield, Massachusetts, Mayor Dominic J. Sarno, home of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Proclamation, be it known, the City of Springfield, Massachusetts hereby extends its congratulations to Alvin Skinner in celebration of his retirement. And you'll get a kick out of the thing. Got a little crossing guard guy on it, too. Be it known that Mr. Alvin Skinner is ready to call it a career after 35 years of dedicated service to the City of Springfield Public Schools as head custodian. I, Dominic J. Sarno, Mayor of the City of Springfield, hereby present you with this proclamation in recognition of your dedication and commitment, and we wish you to express our appreciation for the work you did to keep our children, all our children, safe. Your work was always outstanding, and we really mean that, really mean that. Today, we join with Mr. Skinner's family, friends, and co-workers in wishing him good health and a very happy and well-deserved retirement. Be it further known that I, Dominic J. Sarno, Mayor of the City of Springfield, on behalf of the residents of our great city, extend best wishes and good health on this joyous occasion. Therefore, I, Dominic J. Sarno, Mayor of the City of Springfield, do hereby proclaim Thursday, December 14, 2023, as Mr. Alvin Skinner Day in the great city of Springfield. I strongly encourage all the residents not only to be aware of this event, but also to thank him and try to follow his example. And I hand wrote here, you're always the gentleman. Thank you, and congrats, and good health, and God bless. And then again, as I put a P.S., my wife Carla, daughters Cassandra and Kiara, your former students of Frederick Harris, send their best to you too. Congratulations. So, Principal Harris, and then Mr. Skinner, then we'd like you to come up. We'd love to shake your hand and give you your awards, but let me first turn it over to Madam Principal Harris.
Sure, thank you. I will keep it short and sweet because I know that's what Alvin wants me to do. We are definitely going to miss you, Alvin. My favorite thing about Alvin Skinner is that his favorite part of the job is the kids. He knows every single kid's name. Everybody gets a fist bump or a high five or a stop sign or a safety vest or to hold the keys or to swipe the badge when he's clocking in and out. So every kid, is touched by Mr. Skinner, and they are going to miss you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, school committee. I'm going to really miss being around the Harris staff. Thank you guys for all coming out. Ms. Harris, Ms. Stenwick, Ms. Collins, Ms. Moriarty, Mr. Moriarty, Mr. Bowles, everybody at Harris that I've ever worked with. I appreciate them. I'm going to miss the kids, and I just thank you for this recognition.
Come on down, come on down. Start off the meeting. I thank you to the school committee for your indulgence to call that out of order. We appreciate that. We'll now move to voting items. A is to approve the Renaissance field trip to Redgate Farm in Ashfield, Massachusetts on December 19, 2023, returning on December 21st, 2023. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a form in your packet on this. Redgate Farms is a trip we have different schools going to every year. I think Derek is on from the staff if anyone has a question, but I recommend approval of this trip. We've been going for years, and it's been great for the kids.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, there's a motion on the floor. Motion by Vice Chair Naylor is a second. Second by Ms. Hurst. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy? Absent. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. I just wanted to check with folks again. I don't know if Attorney Murphy was trying to get on. Just to double check. Not yet? Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, B is to vote to make null and void the Springfield School Committee remote participation policy operating under the more accessible provisions provided in the governor's guidance. Superintendent Warwick?
Yeah, this item was discussed in the Legislative and Contracts Committee, and Josiah Gonzalez heads that committee, so I'll let him speak to this.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Superintendent. So it was brought to my attention a few meetings back that there was a conflict with our current policy for multiple members to participate remote because our current policy only allowed one member to participate remote at a time. So I brought this forward in an agenda item to the Legislative and Contracts Subcommittee so that we could, one, discuss, and then two, vote to make null and void our current policy and operate under the governor's guidance. I know that Ms. Hurst and Mr. Collins, who are on that subcommittee, folks have got some views on it, and I just want to note and add this in parentheses about this particular vote this evening. This does not preclude the body, and I said this at the subcommittee meeting, this does not preclude the body from picking this up in the months to come or in the new year and to add guardrails as folks see fit. But I understand that folks had a difference of opinion on this. So with that being said, Mr. Mayor, I will be supporting that we vote to make null and void our current committee remote participation policy.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I'll open up the discussion.
May I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Hurst.
Of Attorney Phelps, just based on how the voting item is written. So, because I didn't have an opportunity to go back and look at what we voted on. I know that we voted to bring forward to the full school committee that we vote to make null and void the current remote participation policy. But the current remote participation policy that we currently have, that is the one that's operating under the more accessible provisions? No. Or are we saying that we're voting to null and void our current policy so that we can operate under the governor's guidance?
The latter.
The latter?
Right.
Okay.
So the current, just to clarify, the current policy only allows, and the current policy passed by the school committee in 2022, only allows one member to participate remotely. So as I understand it, what came through Legislative and Contracts and before the body tonight is to nullify that your existing policy. And so the default then is the governor's guidance that was issued as part of the supplemental budget bill, which puts in place or remains in place the more permissive remote participation that occurred during COVID, and that is that all members of a public body may meet remotely.
Okay, and so I guess my question is, when I was reading this over, based on the governor's guidance, it requires a quorum to be in the chambers. No. So if there's a requirement of a quorum to be in the chambers, and based on the number of school committee members that we have, would that mean that up to 3 people could participate remotely?
So I'm going to draw your attention to the second page that's in your packet, updated guidance on holding meetings pursuant to the Act. It's dated June 28th, 2023, and that's what Governor Healy signed into law. And if you locate that, if you go to the 4th paragraph, It says, second, any or all members of a public body may continue participating in meetings remotely. The open meeting law's requirement that a quorum of the body and the chair be physically present at the meeting location remains suspended.
Okay. So, but I don't know if everybody watched the meeting or if everybody has read the minutes to the meeting, but there was a difference of opinion at that meeting around whether or not, the vote, of course, was to bring this to the full committee, but there was a motion made by Mr. Collins, or an amendment, for us to amend our current policy to up to 3 people. And so I don't have a problem with that, which is what I stated during that meeting, because I do believe that we need to ensure that more than one person can participate remotely. I think my concern with, or from what I recall, because I went back and watched it, is that the issue or the concern is that if we operate under the governor's guidance, then that would mean that no one would have to be in the chambers.
It is permissive to that extent, yes.
Okay. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to say. I know that for me, what's most important is to ensure that those members who fall under the 5 categories that the governor lists are able to participate if needed. And I do understand, I think I was in this document, and what I thought I heard Mr. Collins saying at the last meeting was that it was important to have school committee members present, which is fine. I think that that is important. However, I do think it's also important to ensure that other members have access to being able to participate remotely.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I did
Mr. Collins?
vehemently against making our policy null and void. We spent a long time developing a policy. We also believe strongly that the public elected us to be here and interact with each other and represent them. The reason we made a policy, and we actually had a policy, we're operating under our policy before we could all go remote, is that we realized that on occasion, there is a circumstance that might prevent somebody, whether it's illness, whether it's, you're supposed to come back and you get delayed, your plane gets delayed, but there are extenuating circumstances, so we made a policy. And so to make it null and void, I thought disenfranchised the voters. They elected us to be here. They expect us to be here interacting with each other. I don't believe it's quite the same when you're participating remotely as it is when you're here having a discussion face to face. And I strongly believe that it's very important. Again at the meetings said to Denise, I don't disagree that maybe we should look at our policy and amend it, and maybe one was too stringent, and maybe we should take a look at it. But I do oppose to throwing the policy out. I would rather see us come back I would rather see us defeat this and come back with an amendment to the policy that would make it more functional for the committee. Clearly, we have a member right now who's going through some physical issues, and we know he's going to be out for a few meetings. So what if somebody else got sick? That prohibit them. So maybe we were too stringent in the beginning. I don't disagree with that argument, but I think throwing it out completely is a bad thing. I think it's kind of a message to the public that, you elected us and we'll take the money, but yeah, we'll come when we want to come. And I don't think that's the message we want to portray. So I would recommend that we defeat this one tonight and immediately go back to the subcommittee and try to come up with an amendment.
And I'm sorry, no, Mr.
If I can go to Vice Chair Naylor, then I'll go back to Ms. Hurst, because she hasn't spoken yet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I wanted to echo Mr. Collins' sentiment in that we worked very hard on this particular policy and spent time going through and hashing through the pros and cons of it. It wasn't until recently that we realized that it was, in fact, some things that we did not notice or pay attention to when we came up with the policy. I recall that there was a meeting specifically when we came up with the idea to go and create this policy, because we were following the governor's less restrictive policy. There was a meeting where we would not have had a quorum. And the only reason why we didn't have to cancel the meeting was because there was a technical issue and we weren't able to have the meeting. Other than that, we would not have had a quorum that day and we would not have been able to have our meeting. And so I think it is important that the voters, especially with us saying to folks, you can come down and be in person and you can present in person, that if people showed up and we had one person sitting here at the podium and everybody else on Zoom, that would just look like a debacle. And so to throw away something that we worked so hard on and just null and void it makes me feel like we wasted time working on something as diligently as we did. I do agree with an amendment to state that we allow for up to 3 people to be able to participate remotely should they fall into the 5 categories that we worked diligently to come up with, to make sure that folks are not taking advantage of being able to be remote and using it as a leisure more than a requirement because of whatever situation that they're in.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Ms. Hurst?
Yeah, so I 100% agree. I think that the issue in defeating this evening is that the reality is that we're going to get ready to go on break, and we don't have another meeting between now and our organizational meeting. And so God forbid that something happens to one of us, or there's a reason, one of those 5 reasons, then we might not be able to participate in the organizational meeting, right? Especially if we already know that we have a member who is out indefinitely. And then soon thereafter, that next January meeting, both myself and Vice Chair Naylor are in Washington, D.C. on school business. So then, on school committee business. So then what happens? So then we're now going almost 2 months without having something in place. So I guess my question is to Attorney Phelps, which is, can there be an amendment now, or does it have to be fully null and voided?
So the agenda indicates that there's a vote regarding nullification, so I think that has to be done. The fact that there is not another, it wasn't put on the agenda as a discussion regarding or a vote for an alternative. I don't believe it can be brought in because brought before the committee tonight because it's not on the agenda. There's not a notice to the public that you would be considering options other than an up or a down on the existing policy.
Thank you.
So if you could stay there for a moment, Attorney Phelps?
If Ms. Hurst is...
Oh, I'm finished.
So you think that that's, that amending it in that way is too different from what's on the agenda? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It is. I mean, I'd have to go back. I did bring Robert's rules to see if, in fact, a vote to nullify something can be amended to less than nullification, a change in the policy.
Can we vote to nullify the section of the policy that says that only one member may be absent?
You could. That's a great workaround because it
Can you
is
repeat that? What was that?
I said, could we make a motion to amend this so that we say we are nullifying the portion of the policy that says that only one member may be absent?
Because that is in the existing agenda.
That's in the public notice, yes.
And the reason I ask that is we could depend upon the chair to make sure that we have a quorum in the room until we can formalize a policy. And we could put this.
I'm just looking at the calendar in which that we don't have a meeting until the 2nd, the 11th.
I was asking if we could do that tonight.
Oh, okay.
My question was, can we vote tonight to nullify the portion of the policy that says only one member may be absent, which then doesn't give you a limit. The chair fully understands we want a quorum in the room, and the chair controls whether or not people can be out until we can get, and actually the amended policy back before us. We could operate that way and not send the message that we're nulling that we're saying that everybody doesn't have to be in the room. If you say that, do you think that's a permissible amendment?
So the agenda reads, "A vote to make null and void the Springfield School Committee remote policy." That's the first part of the notice. So if there's something less than making the whole policy null and void, that would be an amendment to the published vote. So you're taking, instead of the whole thing, you're making null and void the number 1 and substitute with another number.
And that falls within the parameters of what we have on the agenda today, which would be able to accommodate Ms. Hurst or all the school committee members on that. Is there any other questions or comments? 'Cause if not, I wanted to say a couple things on it too. I would support if we're able to amend, because I fully believe, you're elected to be here, and unless there's extenuating circumstances, you should be here. I was proud to say you see some committees or bodies of government that are still meeting remotely in Zoom. We moved forward to meet in person with all the public health protocols to do that, to keep the school committee going. And I'm not saying with this body, but if there's not extenuating circumstances, and I think Vice Chair Naylor hit it right on the head, that, an individual he or she out of their leisure, I'm going to stay home and do that. That's not what you're elected for. And we need to be in the chambers here. And I think it'd be terrible if you had people coming down here and you literally had 1 or 2 school committee members here. So on the amendment, fine. We got to get back to regular business. We got to get back to regular business. Only in extenuating circumstances, which it's documented, and I commend the subcommittee. I worked very, very hard on this. But as I said before, we were meeting in person when a lot of other bodies of government were still meeting remotely. And I want to commend the school committee, and I want to commend the administration on that. Though we could not have people here in a time, we made sure they were accessible via Zoom and to keep government going. So Attorney Phelps has clarified that agenda, we can amend this, and that I'll wait to hear the amendment, and Matt could clarify, but I hate to throw everything out here.
So I would be willing to make a motion that we amend, unless, Barbara, you want to speak
Ms.
first?
Gresham?
Yes, I just want to make clear that we understand what the yes vote will be.
You're right.
Okay.
I do too.
No,
So that we know what we're.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to vote, we're going to vote no on nullifying the complete.
No, Mayor, under
Or you're going to
Robert's
amend it and
rules of
then
orders, I'm gonna
you're
offer
able
an
to,
amendment.
okay, so we don't have to do 2 votes. You can amend what we have currently, so then a yes vote would be.
If we accept the amendment, then we
okay.
vote on the,
I didn't know technically if we had to vote down the original, okay, so.
so I'll make a motion that we amend this to say that we vote to null and void the section of the Springfield School Committee remote policy which limits the number of people being remote to 1.
May I ask a quick question? Oh,
Yes, Ms. Hurst, on the amendment.
Does that mean that if we vote to null and void that section, are we at some point obligated to come back and wordsmith it so
Codify
that
it?
codify it,
Yeah.
so that it is a more comprehensive policy? Are we doing that right now so that we have some provision in place leading up to the next meeting where we will finalize?
If you recall, our policy says that the chair must always be in the room and a quorum must be in the room. So it allows us to operate. That's how it currently reads, correct, Attorney?
The chair or
Correct.
the vice chair?
Says the chair and a quorum must be in the room. So basically, without inserting the number 3, what you're doing is limiting it to number 3 by taking out the line that says it be limited to 1 person.
And our goal is always to have everybody
Sure, we want
in the
everybody.
room. That's always the, you know, the goal, and, you know, knock on wood, I've been able to make 99% of the meetings. I don't want to jinx myself here on that, so, but I just think if we're able to do that, Attorney Phelps, it sends a better message, because, you know, you've seen other bodies across the Commonwealth where they're still on Zoom on it, and I just, you know, we're elected to be here, so, just to clarify the amendment again, which
That
would
we
mean...
make null and void the line in the Springfield School Committee remote participation policy, which limits the number of people to one who may be remote.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez.
Attorney Phelps, can you clarify? I know you were, you know, looking at this to make sure that is that permissible?
So it would be the sentence on, in your packets, it's a two-sided policy. I'm sorry, on your packets, it's a two-sided policy. On the top of the second page, it reads, "No more than one member of the school committee may participate remotely at any given meeting." So the amendment would be that that sentence is null and void in the policy, and that nothing would preclude this body from convening at another time to make any further changes or amendments to this remote policy.
So, if I could just ask a point of information. In there, do we need to have that, you know, a quorum needs to be present? So that would dictate that, at most, with extenuating circumstances and following the 5 guidelines, 3 could participate remotely. Because I think, you know, the goal is to make sure everybody's here, but we have a forum. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's in number 1, Mayor.
Okay.
That's in the
I
policy.
just did glance at it before,
Sure.
so, okay. That's all I wanted to know. All right, so, just so I know, Barbara, Ms. Gresham had a question, then if the amendment, a vote for, a yes vote, then would be that just we're nullifying that portion, just the stringency of 1 to go that you have to have, thank you, Vice Chair Naylor, you got to have a quorum, and you obviously want more than a quorum, but a quorum, and if there's extenuating circumstances that fit one of the 5 categories, up to 3 could be out.
That's correct. Everything else remains the same in the
Okay.
policy.
Is everybody okay with that? So a yes vote would move on this amendment, and we've
It
been
needs
able...
a second, Mayor.
Okay, no, okay, yeah, I figure we have to, but I just wanted to clarify. So motion made by Mr. Collins, seconded by Vice Chair Naylor, and again, a yes vote means that, you know, we have a policy and that we can all live with, and I think it was a good, but we didn't throw everything out on it, because again, we're elected to be here. So, motion made by Mr. Collins, seconded by Vice Chair Naylor. If there's no other discussion, roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
On the amendment, correct? On the amendment?
Yeah, the amendment.
Yes.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Mer-
Absent Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. So I think that puts that to a close then. If you just, can you clarify, Attorney Phelps?
Yeah, I do think there needs to be, because there's an amendment, it amends the vote language that's on the agenda.
So you need a
So I
second.
think we need a
That's what I
second
want-
vote
okay,
that
but I asked
says,
originally- Okay,
and again, it's
Item
a...
B as amended.
Yeah.
as amended. Okay, so the amendment passed unanimously. Now is there a motion on the entire question?
I move that we vote on item B as amended.
Again, clarification. Item B as amended, so a yes vote keeps, you know, the continuity.
Keeps the amendment intact.
Intact, so just wanted to clarify that.
Second.
Second by motion by Mr. Collins, second by Vice Chair Naylor again. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy? Absent Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, the matter passes. Thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor,
everybody.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
And does that go into effect immediately,
I-
Attorney Phelps?
I would say so.
As soon as
Yes.
we passed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. good mutual work on that. Okay, C is to approve expenditure of $30,000 for FY24 Strengthening Family School Partnership Grant for the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, acronym DESE. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this has been through the Budget and Finance Committee and unanimously approved. I think we have Matt Brunel on to give us an explanation on the empowerment zone, if he can give us a quick overview.
I'd be happy to, Superintendent Warwick.
Thanks,
Can
Matt.
everyone hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Matt.
Wonderful. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the school committee, and Superintendent Warwick. I want to start by saying that strengthening family school partnerships is an area where the empowerment zone just has to get better. We've done, I think, some good work in this area, some promising work, but this grant is going to help us with two initiatives. One at Emergence Academy, working with our newcomer population, which is a surging population in town. This grant is going to help us be able to better communicate academic and social needs to families of that are at Emergence Academy. And the second school that's going to benefit is Springfield Legacy Academy, or Legacy, located at the Chestnut campus. And the grant there is going to be a career pipeline program. It's commonly referred to as 2-gen learning, to try to steward interest in the field of education with our families. Both we're very excited about, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Brunel. Thanks, Matt. Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Gresham?
So what plans do we have? How are we going to make sure that our parents are connected with this particular grant?
Yes, Member Gresham, at Emergence Academy, we're going to, the grant calls for an evaluation, so to see to what extent these programs that we're offering to families have been effective. And so we're going to be doing a step back at the end of the year to see to what extent, from a kind of a pre-survey and then or pre-experience and then post-experience, to what extent families have been able to gain a greater understanding of their child's academic and social needs. At Legacy Academy, it's a little bit more nuanced in the sense that we're going to be looking at attendance numbers and participation rates of families taking part in this career development work. And we certainly have goals attached to each one of those, and we'll be mindful of them throughout.
Thank you.
May I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Hirsch. If Ms. Gresham is done.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Hirsch?
I'm reading this, and I'm just wondering, how does Lincoln play a role if they're outside of the zone? Oh, okay.
Jose's going to present.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Good catch.
Okay. So if Superintendent Ward, did you want to call Mr. Director Escribano?
If there's any more questions for Matt on the empowerment zone piece? No. So Jose, if you could present on the Lincoln piece for us.
Director
Thank you.
Escribano, please.
Jose runs our Family and Community Engagement Department.
Thank you, Mayor, School Committee. So this was a grant from DESE that we applied for, and the vision is that we use this pilot program to see how we can replicate this model into other schools. And the model is to really co-create with parents, staff, and a community organization, and that was one of the requirements from the grant, that we have a community organization a part of that. And that would be New North Citizens Councils. They have a strong family engagement arm to that organization. There was a quick turnaround for this grant, so we had to move quickly on this. And so what we're going to be looking at doing is working all together to see how we can create family engagement tools that other schools can use, and we're using the Massachusetts framework, which is based on the Karen MAP dual capacity model. So that will be the theory behind how we are co-creating these learning tools for other schools.
Thank you, Mr. Director Escribano. Any other questions or comments?
So are we getting 30,000 each, or we're splitting 30,000 between 3 schools?
It's a pilot. I think it's just...
Right. So it was a split between the 3 schools. So it's going to roughly be around 10,000, give or take, per school to run this program.
But again, this is a pilot, and I'm
Correct.
sure we're going to be successful, then we can go after more.
Correct, and then
grant money.
DESI made,
Sure.
made this as a pilot grant program and they only allowed us to focus on one school at a time. So it's not a pilot program where we can go to multiple schools. We really had to focus on one school, try to do family engagement right with that one school, and then see how we can replicate that to other schools in the district.
Thank you, Director Escribano. Ms. Gresham?
So do we have to report back to DESI how it's going, or?
Yeah, DESI always has reporting, and also, what we're looking is creating accountability between all the stakeholders, that be the families, the school, the district, and the community organization. So, but there is obviously some grant requirements that we have to report back with all our grants to DESI.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Director Escribano. Superintendent Warwick?
It's been through Budget and Finance, and the subcommittee approved it. I don't know if Chris wanted to speak
We've
to
got
it.
unanimous support. We had the same kind of explanation at the meeting that we just had, and we fully support it.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. If there's no other questions or comments, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second? Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy? Absent Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor? Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. D is to approve an expenditure of $245,875 for the FY24 IEP Targeted Special Education Program Improvement Grant from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESI. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We're about to go into a new endeavor, implementing a new IEP. This is a major change for every school system in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So they made available some grants to help us with this work. So what we put a team together to look into how we could help to implement this. Again, a major change for us after years and years with the same IEP. So every student in Springfield, 5,000 students have IEPs. So you can understand the magnitude of this change. So this grant is going to help us do this. We had a team together to put together the proposal. Dr. Mary Ann Morris and Dr. Marissa McCarthy are on, and they could give us a quick overview and then answer any questions.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Dr. Morris? Dr. McCarthy?
Good evening, everybody. I can jump in, and Dr. McCarthy can certainly come in as well. As Mr. Warwick said, the state has mandated a new IEP after decades of using the same IEP, so huge change and requiring a great deal of training and professional development by everybody across the district and our families as well. So this grant was provided by DESI to help with that implementation. It includes, again, professional development, some consultant work, some salaries to call back some folks to help us. Our ETLs are going to be critical in this. They're going to be train the trainers. So a lot of work has to be done. We are ahead of the game, thank goodness. Mandatory implementation is this coming year, and I think we're going to be ready to go. But that is what you have in front of you. It's a one-time opportunity, and it's primarily, again, for the massive amount of training and work that we're going to have to do to get this new IEP in place.
Dr. Morris, I just want to give you a shout out to thank you for all your years of dedicated service. I know you'll be retiring very shortly, and we'll have more to say about that in the future. But thank you, Mary Ann. Thank you, Dr. Morris. I don't know if there's any questions or comments that Dr. McCarthy's also on. Let me go to.
No, it's okay.
Mr. Gonzalez, please.
Yes, just a point of clarification. I know that Mary Ann Morris, we had discussed the salaries as a part of this grant. And during the subcommittee meeting, it was noted that this was going to be used to incentivize pre-existing staff And I just want a point of clarification for the public, because now you had mentioned that now this is going to be used for callbacks.
Well, no, part of the salaries are, in fact, that. Some of it's going to offset current salaries, such as our assistant director. Some of it is going to be salaries for folks that we want to, kind of incentivize as well, our current ETLs, as well as some that we might need to bring back to help train the staff. So I hope that answers that question.
Thank you.
If Mr. Gonzalez is...
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Collins, you were next. And, another...
Go ahead,
Oh,
Mark.
Ms. Gresham.
That's okay. Go ahead,
I'm
Mark.
sorry,
Go ahead, Ms. Gresham. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. So the callback, will that be people that retired, or who would that be?
It may be ETLs that are retired that we need to bring back as well. We're expecting quite a few ETL retirements this year. So we don't, again, this is kind of a projecting forward budget. And we are making sure that we have enough money in the budget to bring back ETLs that are retiring this year, should we need them, as part of the training model.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Just to give some meat on the backbone and for the public, we talk in a lot of vegetable soup. This is IEP. IEP is an individualized education plan. So every student who gets special education services, which is about 20, where are we at now?
We have 5,000.
Okay.
Actually, our latest count, I had to do this for a report to Jesse, is 6,200.
Okay. So every one of those 6,400 students have an individualized education plan. In developing that plan, you have team meetings. Those meetings can have anywhere from 5 to a dozen people in them, all professionals. And this is the first time, and I worked in the system for a long time, they've changed the process. There's a lot of people who need training, and getting this grant is going to be very helpful. Lots and lots of folks have been doing this the same way their whole career, and there's something new they've got to learn. So it's a good grant, and it's going to be well worth it. We recommend highly that we accept the grant.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments, Mr. Gonzalez?
May I ask a question?
Ms. Hirsch,
When does this new IEP system get implemented?
Here, I think.
This coming year, 24-25 school year.
So IEPs will look different come September?
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, so we're going to do, we've already been doing some training with our evaluation team leaders, which is the acronym that I've been using ETLs for, because they're the team chair people at the building, and they are the ones that are in the forefront of developing it. So we've been kind of getting ahead of the game and making sure that they're seeing the new format, the new template, the new process, getting comfortable with it. A lot of angst with this change. Then we're going to be targeting, again, we have to target everybody. This is not just the special ed staff that has to be trained. It's our administrators, it's our general ed teachers. We've got to get it out to the families so they're comfortable with it. So we have been doing some training now, but we're going to be doing a lot of it going forward because we have to hit the ground running in September.
Thank you, Dr. Morse. Any other questions or comments?
This has been through the Budget and Finance Subcommittee.
Thank you, Superintendent Warren.
It came with full recommendation from the committee.
Okay, say again, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is a motion on the floor, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second?
Second.
second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy? Absent Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passed. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Morris, Dr. McCarthy. E is to approve appropriation from carryover of other surplus funds in the amount of $23,672,347 to fund the investments on the attached list. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Yeah, there's an item in your packet on this that explains everything. We brought this through subcommittee, through Budget and Finance. Every year, we have savings in the budget, a lot of savings recently. The number's a little higher than some other years because of the lost time issues with finding staff and not filling staff positions right away. And typically, what we do is we bring these items in front of the school committee, and we look to fund items that are one-time items, investments, as opposed to investing this money in staff, because then there'd be recurring costs that would be problematic and not built into the budget. So Pat Roach is on to go over this with you, and I'll go back to the subcommittee chair after that. Pat Roach, on.
Thank you, Superintendent. Mr. Roach? Pat?
Thank you. Yes, so what you have in front of you is a request to use carryover and other surplus funds in the amount of $23,672,347. That you can see the proposed items in your packet. We have $8 million towards facilities summer projects. Those are when we shut down about 10 schools every summer, and we do various projects such as floors, paintings, and ceiling tiles. Things that bring up the aesthetics of the school. We're on a 10-year cycle. The next one is the weapons detection system. We had been discussing one in the safety as well as the safety subcommittee and the budget and finance subcommittee. The third item on there is the Sumner Avenue preschool and campus. If you remember, we recently purchased the Friendlies right next to Sumner Avenue Elementary School. And so this is to redesign the campus and the parking lots and connect the buildings together so that we can have the buses go around the school and get the traffic out of the road and make sure our students and families are safe there. The next item is Washington water damage. We had that flood at Washington a few months back, and this is to replace the ceiling in the basement that was damaged during the time that right now that area of the building shut down, and we'd like to do that work and open it back up. Custodial equipment and overtime. That's updating some of our custodial equipment and a little bit of overtime to support all of the ESSER projects that we have going on. And this way we can keep some buildings open at nights and during the weekends in order to let contractors in so we can do those construction projects that are going on. Academics and curriculum materials. We want to make a significant investment of $9 million in upgrading a lot of our curriculums. And this is how we've done a lot of our adoptions and investments in academics, because we like to do them as the one-time expenditures because they only come up every so often as opposed to an annual expense. The next one is IT, hardware and software. That $2.3 million for the IT hardware and software. A lot of this is equipment replacement in our data center, as well as some phone system upgrades. Athletic uniforms and equipment, $495,000. It goes across, it's what's needed for some areas of sports that we need some new equipment and uniforms. It allows us to accelerate that process there. And it does go to both boys and girls sports as well. And then some nursing materials. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Vice Chair Naylor, please.
Regarding the academics, curriculum, and materials, is there a reason why that number was defined? Are there certain curriculum that we're looking at, or was it just that's an approximation as to what we'll need?
There are a breakdown of various items within that category. There's some, a ready math 3-year contract. There's some coaching. There's some art equipment. There's some equipment for our gardens. There's the contract for CLE. Diverse library collections, $800,000 going to update a lot of our library collections. There's quite a few items in there.
We got the items from all the academic directors and what their needs were, and it's a perfect funding source because it's a one-time cost for these areas and no recurring costs. So if you spent this on staff, you have a recurring cost, and you can have layoffs down the road. Like the systems that went heavy using the ESSER money, hiring a lot of staff, are now going to be facing layoffs that it's driving up. So it's important to do these kind of investment items under this kind of funding. So we got it from the academic directors.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it, because you have to have sustainability, and the state coffers, I think it's been 3 or 4 months in a row, have been substantially down in their coffers, so we have to prepare. That's when you need to use that rainy day fund. I hope I'm wrong, but the tax or revenue intake has gone down a good amount on the state level, and we rely heavily on state funding, the majority of that going to the chapter 90, the chapter 70 going to the school department, 2/3 of that, of the budget. Any other questions or comments?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor, that
Mr. Collins?
just so the public doesn't think that we've got pockets of money
No.
sitting out there,
No.
just, oh, we find something and we're going to spend it. Just for round number figures, if you look, prior year carryover was about 15 million. That budget was over 500 million. That's any company that has a budget with so many different departments that's $500 million never spends exactly to the penny in each one of those departments what they projected. And so this is money that either didn't get spent because they ran out of time, or some people didn't get hired as quickly, or some things weren't available. But for the purpose of the public to understand, that's less than 0.5% off. That's really phenomenal figuring by our budget department. And this year it's half of that, and we're halfway through the year. So anybody who can do a budget in May for a year later and only be off by under 0.5%, kudos to you. So this is not just money that was hiding. There's a logical reason for it being there.
And we're appreciative of the state and the administration, gubernatorial administration, and the legislature, because they have increased tremendously on school aid on the Chapter 70. I wish they would do it on Chapter 90, my transportation, to do roadways. That pretty much stays stagnant on that. But thank you, Mr. Roach. Thank you, Superintendent Warwick, and the Budget Chair, Mr. Collins. Any questions or comments?
Went through Budget and Finance Committee.
It's got full recommendation, unanimous recommendation of the Budget Committee.
There's no other questions or comments. Is a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst? Yes. Attorney Murphy? Absent. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor? Yes. Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Thank you very much. We'll now move to informational discussion items, and we have another award-winning school, Talmadge School update, and congratulations on their great efforts. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Shalimar Cologne and her team are going to present, but just a few pieces of data that caused them to come down here. The school achieved a 59% criterion reference target percentage, which is the state's new variable in judging schools, so in that significant improvement category. ELA scaled score of 488.1 and a school growth percentile, student growth percentile of 56.4. Math scaled score 485.3, 49% SGP. Science 486.4, a gain in 1 year of 5.9 points. The state was almost flat, so that shows the kind of improvement the school's making. So again, we're in the midst of a recovery from a pandemic, and Talmadge is just killing it, having over 480 in all three areas and doing a great job. So Shalimar and Cologne and her team are going to present to us on some of the secret ingredients to the success.
Good evening, school committee members. I am here on Zoom, and I would have been there in person, but this works too. My team is watching from home today, but we did have all parts of this work. I can share screen, I believe. I did have a slide deck that I wanted to showcase, I believe you all have a copy. My hope is that you have this copy.
Yes, they do.
I got a new computer recently, so I will be honest to say that some of the little glitches pop up, but I am happy to share with you. I'm honored to be here. Again, distinguished members of the school committee, Student Rep Gonzalez, happy birthday, Vice Chair Naylor, Superintendent Warwick, Mayor Sarno, and all of those who are watching, including my Tiger family. Welcome and thank you for this opportunity. So again, just to showcase some things, I do want to first start with the team. It takes a team to do this work, and my team here is a phenomenal. I have captured them in text. Most of them are in the picture, but I will say that this team, along with the leadership of my Chief Schools Officer, Darcia Milner, as well as what's missing from this picture is all of our families and all of our students that work hard to really make this, the results be what they may. Here. And I will say that my focus today, as many slides as I have, I'm going to pass through as best I can, but I will say that I really want to showcase the results as hard work, smart work that's continuing to grow and reflect as we do, what we do for our students to really love learning and have that go throughout their career in school and beyond. So our first priority is high quality instruction matters, and that's something that the district focused on, and we are so focused on that here in so many ways. I am going to highlight just two, mostly math, reading and writing, and science. Again, we did show growth in MCAS, so I'll talk a little bit about that later as well. But the biggest part is we really wanted to talk about, professional development has been there for all our staff, and we have provided them opportunities. So one of the slides that I missed here was professional development in math. We have math recovery that we're really launching to be an intervention, as well as Ready Math, and that agency has really supported us in growing as we really learn this conceptual math. But the experiences for students is something that we maximize here at Talmadge School, and we dream big and we do big things. So World Math Day, if you didn't know, is an event that we did at Talmadge, and it is a picture that I'll show you here shortly. But it is something where the kids were able to engage online, not only in the United States, but globally. And I'll showcase a little bit of that data shortly. We did a board game project with what I call our crews, which is our students in 3 to 5. And so when we talk about designing a board game, the kids think, oh, easy peasy. But I will tell you, they thought critically, they looked at rules, applications, all that. And we also really like to maximize time with how we give families tools and strategies off screen. So we did a family game night for them, and it involved a lot of different games. We were able to give games home, just again, to engage not only our students and staff, but our families in this work. This is a picture of World Math Day. I do have some facts on this. We were 55th in the United States out of, I believe, 200 schools when we did compete online. In the world, we were
Excuse me, Shalimar, we can't see it.
Oh, okay, hold on.
The first slide.
Oh, okay, hold on, sorry. How about here? Can you see it here?
Yes.
You see World Math Day? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, guys, thank you. Okay, and I know I'm going a little fast, so I apologize, but okay, can you see the next one? Is it working?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So World Math Day, again, we did online stuff. We did some things hands-on. We also did some things with shaving cream where the kids could, copy, write numbers. And we were 55th, like I said, in the United States, 356 in the world. But I got to tell you, I'm not sure how many world schools entertained it, but they still had a great time. In reading and writing, again, some of the professional development that we attended with the Center for Collaborative Classroom, in my view, our teachers continue to grow and develop themselves and their skills. We never hit a point where we're set, and I think that's a really big part of our reflection here. So if my team was here, I would have them share and share out, and they're all so invested in the work, but I will say that we reflect on our data and we look at our data. My view was a new curriculum, and even as we talk about SIPs, which is the Strategic Instruction of Phonological Awareness and phonics and sight words, we are excited about developing our skills to meet the needs of our students. And so some of the results I'm going to show you the results of that hard work. SIPs, for example, district-wide, it was a Tier 1 intervention, so we did use it for all the students who would qualify to receive this intervention. So out of all our students, we did have 21 students come out of SIPs last year, but understand that it is one of those lower grade interventions, but we did have it for all our students, and 87% of the students showed growth, which was really important for us to really build their phonics, their awareness and sight words, so that we can then focus on fluency and comprehension. With action, again, what we give is experiences. So inquiry projects was a big one that we did, and we talk about it in my view, but they wrote me letters about accessibility. We maximized on having them showcase their learning, not only with other Tigers, but with their families. And we also partnered with the community. We did the Thunderbird Stick to Reading program, and Boomer came to visit. So I'm hoping you see this picture. That is our senior custodian, and Boomer, he came and greeted everybody at arrival. That was some of the buddy reading that we did when we did our Read Aloud Day. Our older Tigers read to our younger Tigers, and they really, really loved doing that. And then at the bottom is part of an example of one of the projects the student did to showcase their hero. This little Tiger was, she's now a middle schooler, but she learned to play the trumpet here in one of our clubs, which I'll talk about shortly. And Louis Armstrong was her hero, so families were able to come to that event. iReady data, again, I'm going to pass through this a little quickly, but I just want to highlight that our goal here is to decrease red, increase yellow, and get them to green. So if you see the shaded area, our red was high at the beginning of the year, and as you see, our green trended up. So we look at our domains, we look at a lot of the standards, we look at where we're strong, and we build from that. But again, our goal is to maximize students in the yellow and green, and we did a really good job there. We're also having huge conversations with vertical teams. So important for teams to talk to each other. And this just highlights some of the areas how, again, beginning of the year, a lot of students were in red and yellow, and we really try to grow that green in math. ELA, again, overall, we had a strong results at the end of the year with a lot of students in green for a lot of these domains, which was super powerful. We did accredit our SIPS intervention and a lot of our fluency work in the primary grades for our strengths and phonological awareness and high frequency, but we are looking to use my view and the projects more strategically so we can build our informational text knowledge and really get kids to understand and comprehend reading. Again, vertical alignment, huge focus for us this year. So we're really excited to, again, look at this work with K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they can have conversations ongoing as a collective group and not just see their own grade levels data. Superintendent Warwick talked about our MCAS grades. Our goal is to get to that 500, which is really meeting those expectations. You know, as a principal for over the past 14 years, MCAS is really one of the things that drives a lot of our data points and what we really strive to show our success in. But it is something that it takes so many different components. So this was just the celebration for this year. And we break it down by grade level, where again, we look at this data, we have conversations around what it looks like, not only from year to year, but cohort to cohort. And a huge celebration with access and looking at our work with our students and multilingual learners. As you see here in this spreadsheet, it shows that from one year to the next, all the students show growth. So again, we look at this in a deeper lens, but it does inform a lot of the support. And our ESOL teacher, our ML teacher, Mrs. Alyssa Ryan, also posts strategies for parents on our dojo and highlights things in the weekly newsletter for staff. Priority 2, and this is probably the most exciting part because I feel like culturally responsive, grade appropriate instruction, I mean, it's something where we're building relationships with students. And if you all know me as a principal, I'm about that relationship. I really want to make sure that my staff know that I care and I understand them, and I want our students to feel the same way in our families. So we embarked in the Dyer team. We were the first cohort to do that. We were part of last year's cycle, which is diversity, inclusion, racism, and equity. And our team launched a lot of different work. We actually did more work on this during the World Block the year before. But last year we embarked on a whole school book study on the Sum of Us. And these are just some of the points that we really took away. And really, it really was talking about what racism costs everyone and how we can work together to make it better for all. Courageous conversations, uncomfortable conversations. So understand that this work is important, but is super critical to really be able to embrace the views of all the members in your school and really, really understand how you can facilitate conversations for growth on this. So we continue this work this year as well. We have a garden. So Pat Roach just talked about funding for a garden. And I will say that our garden was student driven from the beginning. We have 10 beds made by the Putnam Shop. So we didn't necessarily purchase things, but they are beautiful, harvested by all our students. We had them plant in milk cartons. We put all their seeds in. The first year, funny thing, we didn't label where the seeds were, so we were just guessing what was growing. But it was a huge success, and the kids owned it from beginning to end, and we still to this day have the students help us with that. So bringing that to life, we feel, had an impact on that science growth. Oh, sorry. We are a CS for All School. We were part of one of the first cohorts. This is Esme and Pranaya, who showcased with Mr. Brewer last year at the CS for All, and they love showcasing what they knew, and we still continue to do that work this year. Our Roar Kids, so we are Tigers. If you haven't seen that, the Tigers is something we embrace and we roar. Not saying all my kids are going roar, right? But we are responsible, organized, always safe, and respectful. And so part of that is really, again, building relationships where we identify students every quarter and we make connections with them when we set time for them to have one-to-one time with their teacher. Last year, this is how many students per grade level we had engaged in this particular initiative, and it is a tradition at Talmadge that we are now on year 3 for. And we do see really big results because we really look at the data of who the student is that we're looking to tap to help them engage in school, come to school, and feel a part of it. PBIS, we are a PBIS school and we dream big on the events. This is our events for this year, and I gotta tell you, we go above and beyond, and our Tigers know while we have students who make the events, there's a certain number that they have to get. We give badges on Dojo and they get to the event, and there's conversations about accountability and knowing if you didn't make it this time, what can we do next, and we grow together. This is an interesting one that I'm gonna go through really quick, but we reimagined social emotional learning a couple years ago with puppy programs. So I will tell you, parents opted in, but it was so amazing to see students grow. This was the year after the pandemic. And my goodness, the kids were able to really look at the way these puppies developed, be able to go in a tiered system, all ASCA mindset standards aligned, and grow from it. And they looked at interactions of the puppies, made connections, all that. And it was so amazing to see how they were able to connect that to their own personal experiences. Student agency was a big part of this program. They were able to evaluate, look at what's going on, really see where the puppies grew, really see how to handle them as we grew together, and they became part of our community. Staff also took advantage with puppy breaks and also using it as an initiative for our students and celebrations and all that. Last year we had school clubs. So I'm a band person. These are all the clubs that we offered at Talmadge. And I will tell you, we had over 120 Tigers, which is more than half of our students, join these clubs. Girls on the Run is one that was super popular. Band, they performed, cursive club, cooking, sports, robotics, all this. And we embraced that along with tutoring in order to really service students extended time in school. So I know I went super fast. We dream big, and yes, we are dreaming huger, which we found out of my view is a word. So we are using that to really embrace our vision and our view at Talmadge. And that is it. So I wanted to stop share and just share that, and I appreciate and I'm honored to be here tonight.
She does. Your staff, administration, students, and families. So I'll turn it over to school committee members. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. I just want to say that you could feel the energy, even though you came and did this presentation remotely. I think you set the standard for principals coming before this body, because we could feel your energy through the screen and hearing what you had to say about your school community. And it goes to show your passion and that you are an ambassador for your school community. So thank you for everything you do, and happy holidays.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor.
you too.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. First.
So Shalimar used to walk the halls of Central High School roaring.
Golden Eagles.
She is my fellow colleague, our classmate, class of 1997, and she had the same enthusiasm then that she has now, and it truly is exciting. And I mean, I'm excited. I want to come and sit in your school, and I know you love how much you love what it is that you do, and I'm just so appreciative that you stuck around and you chose to stay here and educate kids that were once us. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst.
Thank you, Denise, so much.
Mr. Mayor, I would
Vice
also,
Chair Nelly.
it was so funny because as soon as I saw Shalimar, I'm like, oh my God, we feel like yesterday we saw each other at Central. And it's such a blessing that we have so many administrators that went to Central, but of course, Springfield Public Schools. And to see so many of you staying here and doing the work that you do is just phenomenal. And I echo the sentiments of Mr. Gonzalez. Like, we felt your energy as soon as you started, and I I always hear good things about your school, so I'm not surprised. I did not realize you were the principal until tonight, but I've always heard so many good things about the building and about the culture there, and the students love it. And so kudos to you and everything that you do. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Any other questions or comments?
You have so much
Mr.
energy,
Collins?
it's almost exhausting. But it is, Talmadge has had a long tradition of excellence, and it's nice to see you have kept it going forward and serving the children.
He was there.
And it, as when Denise mentioned that you're a classmate of hers, you know, some of our best employees are the ones who came up through this system. They're invested and they believe, and you're a perfect example of that, Shalimar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Principal?
Great job, Shalimar. You do a great job in the school every day, but you were absolutely entertaining tonight, so I enjoyed your energy, and it was a long meeting, so that was pretty cool for us, so great job.
Principal Cologne, Shalimar.
Thank you.
I have to say, besides all the academic programs and excellence that you're doing, that program you do with the puppies teaches a lot of life lessons to young kids at a young age, and that's transformative in how they are able to see how that puppy grows and takes to nurture, and how to treat a puppy or an animal, which you hope transfers how you treat a human being. So I think that's very, very unique. Plus, they're cute, too, so that's good.
They're adorable. We had 7, I think, puppies during the program.
Yeah.
And it's just a credit to my team. You know, I don't come with the ideas, they do, and I just help them really get them out. So it's the power of really empowering your staff and believing in them. So again, I want to shout them out because they're amazing. And my families, too. They were on board with it, so it was pretty cool.
Thank you, Madam Energy. We appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Congratulations to you and the Talmadge staff.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
High energy, very good. Reports of standing committees, student relation, parent concerns, Ms. Gresham.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. B is Buildings and Maintenance Committee, Mr. Collins.
I will not steal the superintendent's thunder. He has some exciting news to pass along.
We do have some thunder, yes, we do. Thank you. C is Legislative Contracts Committee, Chair Gonzalez.
The matter was dealt with, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. D is Curriculum and Programs Committee, Chair Hurst. Ms.
No
Hurst?
report at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. E is Budget and Finance Committee, Chair Collins.
We've dealt with all the issues on tonight's agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. F is Vocational Education Committee. Unfortunately, Peter was unable to get on, Attorney Murphy. G, Technology Committee, Vice Chair Naylor.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. H is School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Chair Hurst. Ms. Hurst.
No report at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Report of the student representative in his swan song tonight, Luis Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Tonight is my last night formally sitting up here with the rest of the school committee. I wanted to take a moment to say that I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that was given to me. For those who believe that it is impossible to be recognized for the work you've done, or believe that because you've had a difficult upbringing, you're wrong, you have to understand that with enough of that dedication, passion, and support from loved ones and important figures, succession and happiness lays ahead. Always note that poverty and difficult upbringings will always be hard, but even with these obstacles, you can still become something important. Thank you for the terms that I have been given, and to speak upon concerns, updates, school projects, and student-based concerns for Springfield Virtual School and also for Springfield Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Louis, and the mom and dad, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very, very much.
Mr. Mayor, may I say something?
Yes, Vice Chair Naylor.
So, Mr. Gonzalez said that Principal Colon set the bar for the principals, and I want to say that Luis has set the bar for our student reps.
He
and
really
you have done a
has.
phenomenal job. And yes.
Hey, you got a standing O from your principal
Yes.
there, too, huh? No, I'm glad Vice Chair Naylor brought it up, because we've had some really good student reps. That's no disrespect to any student, but you really, you got a special niche there. You really have done a tremendous job, and we wish you continued success, too.
Thank you.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
I've been doing this a long time. You're the most prepared
Yeah.
student rep I've ever seen.
Without question.
I appreciate it.
Without question. Any other questions or comments of Mr. Gonzalez's, our student rep, let me clarify, report? Well, great job. Great job. Thank you. Now we'll go to the report of Superintendent. Superintendent Warwick, please.
You know, I think Lewis illustrates something for me that when you see our students with a great support system, they really thrive. And seeing Lewis's parents come down here to support him at every meeting, that's something special that we'd like to thank. When kids do really well, we like to think it's all what we do in the school system, but we know intuitively it has a lot to do with the parents and the upbringing and the support we get from the home. It also has a lot to do with the support that you get in school, and to see your principal and your assistant principal show up at all the meetings. Thank you. I just think it's great, and it was great having you on the team, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
We had some really good news this week. We have some, sometimes we have some hard days, and some days we had some great days. So yesterday we were on with MSBA, and were invited into eligibility. I included a piece in your packet on it for a new Harena school. So something we've been fighting for years. This committee made it their priority because of the systems issues we have there. And we prevailed through the process again. It just is incredible seeing that a state agency, and when they were handing out projects, there were 19. You know how many were from Western Mass? 2. So seeing a city in Western Mass get more MSBA money than any other city or town in the Commonwealth, including Boston, is rather incredible. And I think it speaks to the great team we have in the city of Springfield. And a big part of it, of course, is a school committee support, and Mayor Sarno, who the MSBA and the treasurer love, because a big part of these projects, a lot of them fall down because the cities can't put together the funding packages on the bond authorization. So to be upwards of $1 billion, and Boston had their first project approved in like 15, 20 years. So seeing Springfield do so much better than Boston, kind of incredible. But I want to thank the school committee and really thank the mayor for taking a lead on this, because we have a great team. Also want to thank Patrick Sullivan and his facilities team that help us, and Peter Garvey and the Department of Capital Asset Construction. It's a team piece, and when we get the projects, the educational design is done, and the entire team at central office works with the principals to make sure that the projects are carried out to success. So it was just a great day, I think, for the city of Springfield, approaching $1 billion. And really, when you look at Harena, we've had such problems with the buildings over the years. So this is it's an enduring project, and I was just so ecstatic about it. And I just want to again thank the whole team and the mayor for his support.
I just also, Superintendent Warwick, to Johnny Kerrigan and everybody that was there, but I also want to give a shout out to Principal Cynthia Escarano. Jose, your dear wife. We had the MSBA down there some months ago.
Yes,
and,
we did.
We gave them the whole dog and pony show and took them around. And I think the key thing, they know the work we do, and that's why we're under our administration, we're going to be over $1 billion. And that's unheard of, new schools, rehab schools. But the big thing, and Superintendent Warwick hit it, and I said it again, to Treasurer Goldberg, because of our financial strength, stability, and wherewithal, I said that at the meeting, we're ready to go yesterday. And so, we're hoping to fast-track this and, get a new Harena school built, which I know School Committeeman Josiah Gonzalez will be very happy about on it. But it was a good day. Yes, it was a good day. And we're looking forward to it. And there are a lot of people that helped out, and we're very appreciative of it. And we're not going to stop. We're going to still put more stuff in the pipeline, too. So I'll turn it back to Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, Mayor. On a more somber note, I just wanted to recognize and thank Dr. Mary Ann Morris, over 40 years of service to the city of Springfield as a special ed teacher in the old pupil adjustment program, which is now SEBS, which is the hardest program to teach in the district. Then going back as a school adjustment counselor, evaluation team leader, special ed supervisor, special ed director, psychologist, and special ed director for 20 years. And when people talk about what's the toughest job in the school system, I often run into people and they say, wow, that superintendent's a pretty tough job. And I say, no, the toughest job in the school system is really the special ed director. Very, very complex. And over 6,000 kids now with comprehensive IEPs. So it's quite a challenge. So I just wanted to thank her for her dedicated service to the students of Springfield for so long and wish her all the best in her retirement. And last, we have a contracts report in your package, and if you have any questions on any of the contracts, Pat's always available to you. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my report.
Warwick, any questions or comments on the superintendent's report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to unfinished business. Hearing none, we'll move to new business.
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question.
Ms. Naylor, Vice Chair Naylor.
I don't know if any of you saw the report from Champlain College, but there was a report on financial literacy curriculums in the country. And Massachusetts got an F in this, for the requirements that we have and for the fact that we don't mandate financial literacy in our schools. I do know that last year we did vote on a curriculum for financial literacy, and we're one of the few in the state, if not the only, that do have a curriculum. And I wanted to see if we could, on a future agenda, get an update on how that's going. And then also wanting to find out what would be the process for us to get a take on what the district's position would be around mandating a financial literacy curriculum. There are some groups that are doing some work in the community, and we would like to elevate this concern to our legislators and want to see if this is a position that the district may be interested in. And I know we wouldn't be able to come up with that tonight, but I wanted to at least bring that up to state that we would be ahead of that curve of dealing with the fact that our state has an F, particularly in communities of color in urban areas where there is such high poverty, and the mandate to be financially literate is extremely vital and important for all of us, but especially in these communities.
You know, LaTonya, you make a good point. This came out of our work on the portrait of a graduate. There was a huge demand in our community for financial literacy, so we created a course in financial literacy, put it in the curriculum, got it approved by the school committee. I think it was a couple of years ago. Yeah. So it was while we were still doing the meetings on Portrait of a Grad. There were some things glaringly clear. So before we even implemented Portrait of a Graduate and formalized a strategic plan, and the family and community engagement piece was one, putting a department in place. Another one was financial literacy. So we have the course. We created it as an elective to start with and created a curriculum for it. It's been a big success, so we'll bring a recommendation forward. We'll take a look at down the road, could we, if we make it a mandated course, of course we'd be running against what are we taking out because it's kind of tight, but we can certainly look at that. But let's see where we're at, and something we can certainly look into. But something that as I go around and observe in the buildings, the courses are going very well. So I think it's time for an update. But I think for the community, they give us a lot of great feedback. We had thousands of folks involved in Portrait of a Graduate, feedback from every possible constituency in the city. And the two highest pieces of feedback were financial literacy and family and community engagement. And we got those endeavors even started before we formally launched a strategic plan. So we'll definitely get an update back on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Bringing that up,
Mr.
Vice Chair Naylor, I had Kareem Kennard and Wake Up Movement and came by to see me yesterday, and they do some financial lit work at Duggan Academy on it, and I think we should pursue it because in the old days, you could never even get a credit card unless you had established credit. Now, I mean, we're not kidding around. You could send your dog's name in, and they're going to send you a credit card, and kids get in trouble. So the more we can do on that, the better. And I think we are one of the few in the Commonwealth doing that. So thank you for bringing it up. Ms. Hurst, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I was going to ask the superintendent. I do remember that coming before the Curriculum and Program Subcommittee. And I just wondered, did we only do it in 10th grade, or is it available all throughout as an elective?
It's an elective, so it's available throughout.
All throughout.
Yeah.
And then I also wonder, are there other sort of, maybe it's not a full-fledged financial literacy curriculum, but I do believe, and I only say this because my son is in the 7th grade at TAG, but there are some pieces that are being taught to the kids. Like I know because my son has come home and talked about the whole credit card and the checkbooks and blah, 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 blah. So I just wondered, you know, what, if anything, we could do to sort of really bring it to scale in the middle schools, because that's where I think it's really critical, and then at the high school level.
No, yeah, we're certainly already doing some things, so we can bring that forward and we can look to how do we expand it. But certainly there's a demand there and there's a need there, so great point.
Thank you. Any other new business? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Naylor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. Each and every one in the room and the viewing audience, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, a joyous New Year. Good evening, and thank you for watching. Good health.